Jamani msikilizaji, asubuhi leo hapa ndani ya Chuka University Radio na 10.8 FM. Dakika zimekata ngapi pale? 26 baada ya saa 2 majira ya Afrika Mashariki. Straight away tunaingia pale kwenye mjadala wetu asubuhi. Nilikuwa nimekwambia hapo awali kwamba tuko naye nani jamani? Dr. Joyce Mghoi pale ambaye ni Director of Career Services hapa katika Chuo Kikuu cha Chuka. Yuko hapa kutueleza manake jamani, wiki iliyopita hali graduate. Mazuri sana, yani congratulations sana. Daktari, na karibu sana.
Thank you.
Nafikiri tumekaa sana kama tujaonana.
Tumekaa sana kwa sababu nilikuwa nasoma. Sasa nimerudi kusema nimemaliza.
Vizuri ukiona nilikuwa naona Switzerland. Kwa kule kwenye beach. Nafurahi sana kukuona.
Asante sana. Nilikuwa na cool off. Ukiniona huko unaona nina cool off. Masomo imekuwa ngumu lakini nimemaliza. Sasa nimegraduate.
Imekuwa vipi? What about this? Imekuwaje?
Imekuwa ndefu, safari ndefu, safari ya changamoto nyingi sana, lakini baada ya yote tunashukuru Mungu kwa sababu nimeweza kumaliza na nimeweza kufuzu na nimeweza kuhitimu na nimeweza kugraduate. Kugraduate ni aje kwa Kiswahili? Kuhitimu.
Bila shaka.
Nimeweza kuhitimu pale ndio nimerudi kusema asante. Ndio sasa tuendelee na program zetu kama kawaida.
Bila shaka.
Nashukuru Mungu.
Na tujue hipi. What is this PhD? What is this PhD? Unajua kwamba nimesikia tu ni professor, ni daktari. Ukiwa daktari wewe si professor bado?
Bado si professor. Sasa ukifanya undergraduate, kuna undergraduate na kuna postgraduate.
Alright.
Ukifanya undergraduate degree unapata a degree. Ukishamaliza degree unaweza endelea masters.
Right.
Unaweza endelea masters, ukitoka masters unaendelea PhD. Ukitoka PhD sasa umemaliza masomo ya class na kila kitu.
Right.
Sasa unaweza kuwa professor. So PhD ni daktari, unakuwa daktari. Huwezi itwa professor. Lakini for you now to be called a professor, lazima usaidie wanafunzi wengine kugraduate either masters level at a PhD level, uandike papers, ufanye research. There are so many things that you need to do to become a professor. Now you start also with becoming an associate professor and then now you become a full professor. So there's a lot that you need to do between PhD to professorship. There is writing papers, there is doing research, there is presentation of papers, projects and so on, and helping students to become doctors or to become or to graduate with masters.
Right.
So when you do PhD, you earn yourself a title of a doctor of your area of study.
All right. Sasa
yes.
Umemaliza mwaka wa 4 pale katika chuo kikuu.
Yes.
Ni miaka ngapi itanichukua mimi mpaka nikuwe sasa tuseme for example you associate professor?
Bidii yako ndio itakuokoa. But it should not be less than 3 years. Bidii yako ndio itakuokoa, lakini it should not be less than 3 years.
Kuna watu ambao wanafanya mpaka miaka 10.
Yes. It depends. Actually, postgraduate studies, and I want to explain what postgraduate studies mean.
Right.
When we talk about postgraduate, we are talking about the highest postgraduate achievement, which is now you get to PhD. That is the highest that you can get. You go to class. It entails coursework.
Right.
You go to class, unafundishwa, unafanya mtihani, unafanya CAT, unafanya exam, vile tu undergraduate huwa wanafanya. And then you do an original research. Unafanya research yako which should be very original. You check what other people have done. You check the gaps that are existing. Then you look at what you are passionate about, and you check the area that you really want to do a research. But it should be very, very original. And then you are supervised by a supervisor or 2 supervisors or 3 supervisors. They help you to go through that research to be able to write it in a proper way. You do a proposal, you present that proposal. They say it is okay, you can do this study. Then after that, you go to the field, you collect the data and so on. So anyway, there is the postgraduate studies where you do after your degree. Then there is also the undergraduate. Undergraduate now is from degree level downwards. That's what we call undergraduate. So you are asking how long it takes for someone to become a professor. It takes not less than 3 years. but it can take even up to 10 years.
Depending on your
Depending,
hard work,
bidii yako ndio itakuokoa. Bidii yako ndio itakuokoa.
Kwa mfano ndugu yangu Lintoi hapa.
Yes.
Na ni vizuri sasa umekuja siku ya leo. Maana niambia kwamba mimi kigogo wakati ambapo nitakamaliza shule na mwaka wa 4 nipate degree yangu nihitimu pale. Mbona nipate kazi. Nini ambacho kitanisukuma tena jamani nirudi pale mpaka nisome mpaka professor nisome yani kuna kazi.
Let me tell you. Actually, if I talk about my own journey to PhD, I completed my undergraduate. I did Bachelor of Education, Arts, and I became a teacher. And I started teaching, and I enjoyed myself in teaching. I enjoyed myself. I did well according to how I assessed my work, and others were assessing my work. So I did very well, and I was very comfortable being a teacher. Actually, after completing degree, I told myself, masomo imenitosha because of the challenges, because of the work, because of all that. So once I completed, I told myself, masomo imefanya nini? Imenitosha. But then when I was there working as a teacher, secondary school teacher, it reached a point where you feel burnout. You feel like this thing you have done it over and over and over again, year in, year out, year in, year out. You feel like I think life is more, there is more to life than doing this. Yani kuna maisha mengine, labda kuna vitu vingine naweza fanya, labda kuna other things that I can be able to do. So you start now feeling like I think I need something else. And that is what happened to me. Nikaanza kujiuliza maswali, nikaanza kujiambia surely nitakuwa tu mwalimu hapa kufundisha for the rest of my life. Is it really okay? So I decided to go back to class and do masters in guidance and counseling. So that's now what happens. Wakati unamaliza fourth year, you feel like I'm through with these studies. Nimemaliza hii masomo, imenichokesha, nimemaliza nayo. But as time goes on, you start also wanting to develop and wanting to grow. So you feel like, let me just go back to class. And then another thing, you may feel like you are now an arcade or an archive person, because maybe everybody else is doing the masters. Na wewe uko hapa na degree yako moja. So unaanza kujifeel, maybe people are looking at you as if hujasoma hivyo, you're not very thumbed. So you need to do something. So that's what happened with me, and I know that's what is going to happen to him. Akishamaliza degree, ataifanyia kazi, ikifika mahali kwingine asikie maybe I need to go back to class. So it happens. After form 4 you feel like I think this is it. Staki tena after fourth year. Staki tena kusoma. But as time goes on, you feel no, I need something else. I need to develop more, because human beings like developing and like growing.
And of course, maybe
yes.
on that note, maybe I was pursuing bachelors of art in journalism and mass communication.
Yes.
Must I go to do masters in that, or I can switch to something else?
Okay, you can switch to something else, but if you are somebody who is channeled, or who your career path is towards academics, like probably you want to be educating people, maybe concerning a certain area. It's important for you to stick to that particular area. To stick to journalism and do something probably related to journalism, but slightly different, but related to journalism. You can do that. But you cannot, if you totally pick a different area, what will form your basis for that masters? You need a basis for undergraduate for you to do that kind of masters. So if you do something totally wild, you may not be in the academic area. And when I talk about academic area, I mean like being a lecturer. Like you cannot be a lecturer when you totally had a different undergraduate degree. Then you have done a totally different master's degree, a totally different PhD, a PhD. It's not possible, because now you'll not be able to be a specialist in a certain area, in a certain field, or in a certain area. So it's always advised that if you've done an undergraduate in journalism and mass communication, at master's level, you can narrow it down. Maybe you can go to production. Maybe you can go to, these other areas of journalism and mass communication, but they are just related. Yes.
Asante sana msikilizaji, tunazungumza naye Madam Joyce Mghoi ambaye sasa ni Daktari Joyce Mghoi jamani.
Yes.
Pale katika chuo kikuu cha Chuka ameshafanya kazi nzuri tena sana. Wasikia mawazo ama jinsi ambavyo natupa wosia pale kwamba ukishamaliza mwaka wa 4 katika chuo kikuu chochote kile, doesn't mean kwamba that is the end of education. Bado pale mbeleni kuna mambo mazuri ambayo unaweza fanya na pia unaweza change your route of course pale. Dakika zimekata ngapi pale? 36 baada ya saa 2 majira ikiwa ni Afrika Mashariki. Kama una swali lolote pale ambalo ungependa kuuliza jamani, 0740233476 au 74023347. Tutakuwa tunachukua break kidogo, tutakuwa tunarejea baada ya muda sio mrefu. Sky mbali. Soma kijana, soma kibao chake sauti soma. Bila shaka tumeingia kwenye awamu ya pili ya mjadala wetu asubuhi ya leo. Karibu sana Madam Joyce Mghoi katika mjadala wetu asubuhi ya leo. Tukisalia tu pale katika ile swali letu ambalo tulikuwa tunazungumzia. Kuna ni how long does it take or does one take to do a PhD?
A PhD,
right?
Which actually means Doctor of Philosophy. Actually, the word PhD, sometimes people don't really understand what it really means.
No.
The word PhD means Doctor of Philosophy. And then now your special area that you are taking. Now it takes between 3 years and 6 years to do PhD.
Right.
That is the required time. That is the accepted time. Ideally, there are people who can take slightly more, and they can take slightly more. But ideally, if you register for your PhD, you're supposed to take 3 years or maximum of 6 years. So minimum of 3 years and maximum of 6 years. For me, I've taken I think the maximum time, which is 6 years.
6 years.
Because I registered in 2018. That's when I registered. I did my coursework 2019, 2020. I completed my coursework. And then now I started engaging in research that has taken me now up to now that I graduated last week on Friday. So the maximum time you can take with PhD, which is accepted, is 6 years. The minimum is 3 years. Yes.
And now before pursuing that PhD,
yes.
For example, maybe I'm a master's.
Yes.
Can I just jump in directly to PhD?
Yes, you cannot jump. You can jump directly to PhD. Now let me start from undergraduate. When you do a degree, you graduate with a degree. When you graduate with a degree, if you get first class honors and second upper, you can directly go to masters immediately. Actually, even yesterday, I was having some few students that were coming to consult what PhD they will do. And I the first thing I asked them is what kind of, how you graduated with what honors. If someone graduated with a first class honors, if someone graduated with an upper class, second upper, they can directly, immediately register. After they have just graduated, they can immediately register. But if you have a second lower, then you need to go out there and work for about 3 years or so for you to go back to do your master's. Now, immediately you complete your master's and you graduate, you can immediately enroll for a PhD. You can immediately enroll for a PhD. However, I want to say this. Again, even at master's level, there are grades you can get that can make you not continue immediately with PhD. So you need actually to have very good grades in your coursework and also in your research that you have done. You need to have very good grades. Then you can immediately enroll for a PhD and you can complete your PhD. And then now after PhD, what we were talking with Anthony, after PhD you become a doctor. You are called a doctor. If you want to become a professor, minimum time you're supposed to take. Actually, you're supposed to take 3 years minimum time, and then you within the 3 years you have supervised people, you have written papers, you have presented, you've looked for funding, to do projects and so on. Then from there you can become an associate professor. So there is no limited time. You can even decide, mi nishafanya PhD, mi naitwa doctor, hapo ndio nimefikia, wacha mimi nifanye kazi yangu na niendelee na maisha. So bidii yako ndio itakuokoa. So that's how it goes. You can register immediately after masters, you can register for a PhD. Yes.
Right. Now talking about tumeongea sana masters pale na masomo baada ya kumaliza shule.
Yes.
Sasa kuna wale wanafunzi ambao wako pale katika chuo kikuu.
Yes.
Wanapitia changamoto zipi labda na ni njia zipi ambazo unaweza tumia waweze kuziepuka zile changamoto pale katika masomo yao?
Katika masomo ya PhD ama katika masomo ya PhD ya degree.
Right.
Okay. Katika actually changamoto zenye zinapata wanafunzi ambao wako undergraduate, sometimes they are the same challenges that are also face those that are doing postgraduate. Because sometimes you may find they have financial constraints or financial challenges. Hizo zinapata wanafunzi wako undergraduate na wanafunzi pia wako postgraduate. Kuna financial challenges, maybe kuna issues na academic stress. Academic stress ni you've taken a course, you go in there and you find there are units there that are very difficult for you to handle, and sometimes you don't know what to do about it. So those are challenges, and they are also facing undergraduate, they are also facing postgraduate students. There is also the intense work that is required, intense research, intense studies that are required, which is a challenge, can be a challenge to both of them. So there are some challenges here and there. Now, undergraduate, they may face slightly different challenges than postgraduate. Because even when we are talking about financial challenges, someone who is in postgraduate may be working. But someone who is an undergraduate relies on their parents. So even when we are talking about financial challenges, maybe the financial challenges of an undergraduate are more than financial challenges of a postgraduate. Then the undergraduate also have other things that they face that may not face the postgraduate. Things like relationship issues, relationship issues that are really, bringing them down. The peer pressure. The peer pressure is more in undergraduate. The relationship issues, the gambling issues, the drugs and alcohol abuse, those kinds of challenges may be more for undergraduate than actually postgraduate students. But there is a solution, because in every university we have a guidance and counseling department, and students go there and they get counsel. Other than that, there are forums. We call them psychoeducation forums, where maybe someone comes to speak to the students, someone is called to the university, a forum is organized, they come to talk maybe about HIV/AIDS, they come to talk about maybe drugs and substance abuse, they come to talk about different challenges of life and how you can be able to handle. So there are all those forums that are there in the university to help students be better as they continue their studies.
Postgraduate studies, balancing between family and studies. Yaani wewe ni mwanamke wa familia, bado unasoma.
Hapo sasa ndio changamoto iko. Hapo ndio changamoto iko, and that is what is making us even take the maximum time to graduate, because of family life. You have you have your own studies, you have studies of your children. Now, when it comes to paying fees, which one do you give priority to? Do you give to your children or do you give to yourself? The answer is very, very obvious, and that you give to your children first. For you, it is a second, maybe you're doing your second degree or third degree, but your children have not reached where you have reached. So you balancing work and family. You give your family priority, especially when it comes to education, and then whatever remains now, you decide to move with it. Now, for those that have young children, again, it is another challenge, because you're supposed to be in class, maybe your baby is not feeling well. Maybe you're supposed to be in class, maybe you don't have a house girl. House girl aliamka asubuhi akakwambia, madam, mimi leo si sitakuwa na wewe. So you see now you are supposed to be in class, but again you are supposed to take care of your baby, you're supposed to take care of your family, you're supposed to be in class, but there is a parents day in school, you're supposed to be in, maybe defending your proposal, but there is something in school, maybe there is a clinic day in school that you need to attend to. So there is a lot to balance actually, and that's why postgraduate students take a long time to graduate because of those challenges that are there.
Asante sana, nimeweza kujua mambo mengi sana.
Hata mimi unajua nilikuwa saa zingine niko kwa blindness kiasi.
Yes.
Niambia unataka kutoka journalism hadi kuwa daktari. Haiwezekani.
I must follow the right channel.
Daktari,
Yes.
kabla hujatoka ningependa sasa hivi tuzungumze na wazazi pale nyumbani, kwa sababu unapata wakati mwingine
Yes.
mtoto ana ile hamu ya kusoma na pia tuseme labda wazazi pia wako na ule uwezo wa kumfunza yule mtoto pale kusoma masomo yake baada ya kumaliza shahada ya kwanza ama degree ya kwanza.
Yes.
Lakini unapata kwamba wazazi wanasema
Si umemaliza.
I mean, next unaweza jifunza ama unaweza jisomesha.
Unajua nilikuwa mwalimu wa geography na CRE nilipokuwa nafundisha secondary school. And there is this statement that says the higher you go the cooler it becomes. Kuna hiyo statement. The higher you go the cooler it becomes. Now it is the same with education. The more qualified you are, the less competition you have. The more qualified you are, the less competition you have. So what I'm going to tell parents is first degree has become like a common cause.
Exactly.
It's no longer okay, it's prestigious, yes, but it's no longer unique.
Exactly.
Even in the village, if you are to count how many people have graduated with degrees, there are very, very many people that have graduated with degrees. But now, as you continue to count those who have graduated with masters, they become less. If you move higher and count those who have graduated with PhD, again, you find that they are very, very few. Like now, if I tell you in my sub-county, where I was born and brought up, I think we are now only 2. There was only one person who had done PhD, a doctor, and now I'm the second one. So now you can imagine if an opportunity comes there and they are looking for somebody who has done PhD, only two. So the competition up there is less. So what I can tell the parents is, kama mtoto wako amemaliza undergraduate, amegraduate with a degree, na amequalify kufanya PhD, na wewe kama mzazi uko na opportunity, uko na nafasi, tunaitanga nafasi, huyu mtu ako na nafasi zake, meaning ako na kakitu, si ndio? Ako na kakitu. So you have some kind of resources that you can be able to spare. Kindly spare and let this child go back to class. Usiseme ati ushamaliza degree, sasa wewe jisaidie. Because the higher this child goes, the less competition this child will have, and the better opportunities that he is able to get. So kwa wazazi watoto wao wamemaliza, maybe wamegraduate on Friday, wengine probably they are graduating this week from other universities, and they have graduated with a good grade, first class honors and second upper. They can actually go back to class, let them pay for them, support them, let them go back to class and do masters. After all, the jobs are quite limited nowadays. Exactly. Yes.
Nasema kwamba elimu haizeeki, ukiwa nayo kichwani mwako utazidi kuitumia tu mpaka wakati ambapo utakuwa mzee kabisa. Utazidi kuitumia pale. Huyo ni Madam Joyce Mghoi. Labda ukimaliza your parting shot.
Yes. My parting shot is I want to encourage all the students that probably graduated. First of all, those that graduated with me on Friday, I want to congratulate them. They have done well. They have worked quite hard. But I want to encourage those that have done masters to go back and do a PhD. Those that were doing a first degree to go back and do second degree. It is intense. PhD is intense because it requires a lot of work and a lot of time. There is a lot of literature review. There is a data collection. There is data analysis and interpretation of data. Then you have to defend and at proposal level, you have also to present your work. You have to also do publications and so on. So all those things they are quite intense and they are quite hard, but it is doable. If someone decides to do it, it is quite doable, and it is possible to complete. For me, I graduated with a PhD in counseling psychology, which is an area that I'm supposed to help others. I'm supposed to help students. I'm supposed to help anybody that needs psychological counseling and to deal with emotions, because it deals with the emotions, social life of a person, health related, because we have something called psychosomatic disorders or psychosomatic stress. Because many people that even are sick physically, many people, sometimes they are going through stress. So without stress, you may find that opportune diseases don't come. Magonjwa mbalimbali haitakushika. Ukiwa na stress, unapata you are very susceptible to diseases. Unapata magonjwa. Ukiwa na stress, actually your immunity goes down. So I graduated with that, and I'll be able to help people that really need my help, so that they can be able to live a relatively normal life. So for me, what next is to continue to enjoy this PhD and to do work for it, and keep counseling and keep talking. So now I'm back here, and we will continue to do we'll continue to discuss some topics here and there. I will take a bit of leave, and then I'll come back and we will continue.
Asante sana. Huyu amekuwa ni Daktari Madam Joyce Mghoi, Director of Career Services hapa katika chuo kikuu cha. Amekuwa nasi hapa kutoka ile mida ya saa 2:20 pale vile my brother. Mpaka sasa hivi umeweza kuelimika, wewe mwanafunzi ambaye umesha graduate pale for the first time, uko na degree ya kwanza. There is always a reason ya kurudi back
pale shule. Unajua pia mimi nimekuwa najiuliza sasa, nikimaliza maybe my first degree nimemaliza, nimeenda pale nyumbani, maybe I'm certain nimefanya kazi kidogo, and then what next? Nataka kuongeza ile,
ukaangalia nyumbani ukaona tu mnapanda ngano peke yake.
Pale nyumbani naangalia tuna mahindi.
Hata kupanda ngano si mbaya, lakini masomo pia ni mzuri sana.
Asante sana.